So,
What's going on, everybody? I want to welcome y'all to episode 2 of the Legacy Podcast. I got my first guest. He got his own podcast, Truthbetoldsports. Y'all should check it out. I want to introduce y'all to my boy, Matthew Broomfield.
what's up? What's up, everybody? What's up?
What's going on, man? What you been up to?
Man, nothing, man. Another day, another dollar. You feel me?
Yeah, man. Adulting.
Oh, yeah.
It's the worst, but shit, we had to get old.
Yeah. Gotta do it.
But, man. So today we got a good little bit of stuff for y'all. We're going to be talking about the NFL predictions, NBA, some stuff going on in both the leagues. So first thing we're going to get to talking about, we're going to start talking about the NBA free agency. So what are you expecting from NBA free agency this year, since it's coming up in maybe 2 weeks, so a week, and with the draft coming up Thursday?
Exactly. To be honest, man, I'm expecting a lot of big moves to be happening, especially with LA. They're kind of in a tricky spot because they kind of switched a lot of their supporting cast last year that they had in the bubble finals and versus this year with Dennis Schroeder. So that's definitely gonna be my first sight to see, especially with Dennis Schroeder asking for a lot of money. And
120 million. Like,
yeah, he definitely didn't produce
he
the
didn't
way
play for 120 million though, right?
Exactly. So I definitely have my eyes on that, but also, the tell of the tape, Damian Lillard, he's saying he want to stay in Portland, but there's people out there talking about teams that are interested. And then DeMar DeRozan is also in that, which I think he's going to go to one of these contenders.
My thing is with Dame, it's like he been up there for so long, and they did get to the conference finals.
Yeah.
But it's like they just ain't got over the hump yet. And I feel like that was a team I probably would say that year they went to the conference finals. I thought they actually did have a chance. But they got swept in 4, if I'm correct, right?
I think they either went down 4-1.
4-1 for 4-1. Okay.
Yeah, I think they went down. But look, everybody say that though. Everybody think, and in my eyes, like, okay, I can see why people think Dame should leave, especially with like a lot of these other star players like KD. He left to go to State to get a new fresh start. A lot of these other players aren't staying loyal to their clubs, which it's a business. It's the NBA, right. But I don't think it's in Dame's nature to leave Portland on his own terms. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, you kind of got to think, like, where can he go to fit in at? It's not a lot of contending playoff teams.
Right. They could use a point guard.
Yeah, but hey.
And you got to think is because he had a max contract, so you got to throw that in there with him as well. So to get him, you're going to have to give up somebody off your team. So like say with LA, if they were to get him, that's going to be real interesting to say for the bench, because they're going to have to get probably, at least Kuzma, KCP going to be gone. So, I mean, those guys got, decent amounts on their contracts and whatnot. So, but I feel like picking up on that, I feel like LA would have the best chance of getting him, but I wouldn't forget about Miami. No. And I wouldn't forget about what's the team? I wouldn't even pass up New York, because I'm saying New York got a good little bit of assets they could get rid of to bring him out there. And think New York played so well last year, and they have the space to actually get him to come out there. But I feel like when it comes to the end, I think the best chance, and even the team people might not even think about, people might get him in Golden State because he might want to go and play home. I mean, you never know.
Yeah, in the Bay. But
yeah, he's from Oakland, so
yeah. Which right. Been in the trade talks already a lot this season, so that would be a surprising move. That could make sense, but I guess if you think about it from a business standpoint, that would probably be the move. But I'm just trying to like conceptualize that as like a basketball standpoint, because my thing is like I feel like the Lakers make sense. Like that would be a team that's probably in the talks. You know what I'm saying? They definitely need somebody like, let's just face the fact, LeBron, he's still putting up what he needs to put up, but he's on the tail end of his career.
It really is. And I feel like we saw that this year in Phoenix. Not saying that he played like he got older, but let's say like forbid the same thing happened in last year. He goes down again like last year.
Yeah.
I feel like maybe, they had AD still playing. That team probably would have went a little farther, but it just shows that LA is one of those teams that they built the team around LeBron. They built the team around AD. So it's like when they together, they're going to play good. But then, they always going to need that piece to make that unit work together. You know what I mean? Like that top guy in that unit with them to keep that team going. And I think another point guard that people forgetting about, you got to remember, Kyle Lowry's a free agent as well.
Exactly.
And then I wouldn't be surprised with talks. I've been seeing some stuff about DeMar DeRozan and Kyle Lowry potentially teaming back up in LA. So I mean, I feel like Kyle Lowry, he would be a good fit for LA. I think he would remind me kind of like a Mario Chalmers, when I mean, obviously he would be better, but he would remind me like of a Mario Chalmers. Back into Miami days. And then you got DeMar DeRozan. So it's like, I feel like those two dudes having their chemistry, LeBron and AD, and then, them having, experience, like on the all-star teams and stuff like that. That could be a thing that could happen as well.
Yeah, I feel like that fit would be nice with Kyle Lowry. Like, imagine that lineup going out there. But is Kyle Lowry going to give you enough, you know what I'm saying, to, but Dennis Schroeder, Kyle Lowry, that's not really a nudge you taking. That's not really a big drop off in my eyes. Right. But I think that would be a optimal case because Toronto's not giving up nobody other than Kyle Lowry. Like, that's what it seemed like. Like, people putting in trades for Fred VanVleet, like, they're not giving up nobody. So, like, Kyle Lowry seems like the most feasible option for them. And then at this point, DeMar, like you said, like, I think about 65% sure he's going to go to LA. He's going to go to the Lakers because he's another California dude. Like, and at this point in his career, I think he realizes that he might have to just join one of these teams with LeBron that have a chance to even grace the finals. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, I think they just see the writing on this wall, and I think that wouldn't be a bad move for LA. But who are you gonna? Because San Antonio, like, I'm trying to think of these other teams. So Toronto will give up Kyle Lowry basically for almost anything. That's what it seemed like. But for San Antonio, I got like a bunch of young dudes. You know what I'm saying? Like, these dudes ain't rookies, but they, they're
second. They going in the right direction instead. Because they haven't been that far out from getting in the playoffs, and they almost got in the play-in last year.
Yeah, they did.
But I feel like with DeMar DeRozan, he has a player option this summer, so we don't even know yet if he's gonna opt in or if he's gonna opt out. So I feel like maybe he probably will. I feel like most likely he's probably gonna opt out, just so you know. But I feel like I wouldn't say that he wouldn't come back to San Antonio though. Mm-hmm. But I feel like for him, it's just I feel like this offseason, all these players are the free agents. They just want to get back home in a way.
Yeah, they just want to get to the ring. They seen Chris Paul, who hasn't been in the ring his whole career, get to the ring.
Right.
But, due to Chris Paul, like, he has that talent. Like, Giannis Antetokounmpo just been to the ring after 8 years. Like I said, some of these guys, like DeMar DeRozan, Kyle Lowry, that been in the league the same amount of time or even longer than some of these dudes that's been making NBA finals, I think they just realizing that, it's a business thing at this point because DeMar DeRozan probably didn't want to leave Toronto, but he got pushed up out of there, you know what I'm saying, for Kawhi. Right. They're just starting to see the writing on the wall and, like, do they want to be known as a player that was great but couldn't get out of the playoffs because of LeBron, which, I mean, that everybody do they want to win the ring and be known because basketball at the end of the day is going to come down to rings.
Right.
Shouldn't be like that, but that's how it is. That's how people are going to judge it. So I think he's going to opt out, but LA is his only choice. I think that's in his mind,
Right.
But I don't see you going anywhere else.
Yeah, because I feel like, even like I remember like in the early seasons last year, they were even talking about him possibly going out there. And he said he always said he would be open to going back out there. So, and the only thing I feel like with these guys, like even like with Kyle Lowry and DeMar DeRozan, are they gonna take a pay cut? Because AD and LeBron, they already got the max slots on LA. You know, I mean, so they already gonna get paid, but you know what I mean, from what they can move. I mean, I feel like Rob Pelinka will be able to, he'll get something with them. I mean, they'll get paid. So I feel like with that team, maybe they only probably looking at is probably what, 10, 12 million, probably a season at most. Cause it's like the team is like pretty much in there, you know, because you got Kuzma, he had a 4-year deal. KCP got it on 44 million. Yeah. Unless you move one of those guys. And then, but I feel like it's really just about, like I said, it's all about if they willing to take that pay cut. I feel like with Kyle Lowry at this stage in his career, he would be willing to do that. He's what, 35?
Sure. Yeah, he's about close to there. Yeah, I think.
Yeah, so it's like you got probably about maybe 2 years at another 2 years playing before you start declining. So yeah, I feel like I'm trying to give players the credit now because like, you know, 30 when we was like coming up, 35 was like that was old NBA, but it's like people can play, you know, now it's everybody can play like, you know, 36, 37, you know, so it's like he got maybe 2 years before he started declining. We don't know like if he's gonna want to keep playing that long. So
exactly, and that's the thing about it though. But which they, and even if they didn't want to take a pay cut, I think they know in their right minds that they don't have a choice because their teams haven't been successful with them on it as much as they used to be. You know what I'm saying? And so their value is going down. They haven't made all-star games in a couple seasons, like, you know.
Right, that is true.
So I think they are starting to see the writing on the wall. But the Lakers have to kind of be careful because I think the Lakers put themselves into a position where they're like ruining their rebuilding years. Yeah. And they have to understand that once LeBron leaves,
it's going to be a drop.
It's going to be a drop, and you got to think in the back of your head, like Anthony Davis might be out of the door too.
Right, because there's no guarantee he's going to stay. I mean, I feel like he wants to be in LA, but we don't know what's going to happen, you know, after LeBron leaves. So, because, like, you know, you got LeBron there for probably about, well, at least you got LeBron there for at least, another 2 years, at least, until he can get to the skin if the year that his son comes out. So it's like, we don't know what he's going to do. Because LeBron's saying he want to retire a Laker, but for me, I just don't see LeBron. If he had, since with him being a free agent the year his son comes out, I feel like for him, the way he talks about, I feel like wherever his son goes, he's gonna go. And it's like, no matter what team his son is on, they're gonna make a spot for LeBron. You know what I mean? So it's like there's gonna be probably a lottery team that year. So
yeah, LeBron
ain't gonna be that hard to get him there. So
yeah, I was about to say. So that's gonna be crazy. If he plays with his son, that's just gonna be crazy. But I doubt it.
I'm saying that'd be the first time ever. I feel like that'd be the first time for any sport. So
I doubt it. Yeah, it would be the first time for any sport. Yeah, it would be, which would be crazy. But
it's like you used to seeing siblings, but parents at the same time. So it's like
that age difference. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. But there's a couple more point guards. It just seems like this free agency is going to be mostly dominated by the decisions that a lot of these point guards are going to make. Like, obviously, you got the big names like Kawhi Leonard and stuff, but like Russell Westbrook,
right?
He's planning to get moved. Like Lonzo Ball, maybe talking about him trying to go back to LA. So I think they're just trying to take, you know, I think LA right now is just trying to take the best interest that they need for their system to work. But you just can't help but to think like, okay, I got to be prepared for 2 to 3 years, maybe 4, when I'm going to lose possibly my 2 best stars because you're getting rid of Kuzma. But to be honest, I think everybody shits on Kuzma. Everybody like craps on Kyle Kuzma and stuff like that. And man, like I just feel like they just forgot the man's first year. Like when he was in the league, he was the only one balling. Like Brandon Ingram didn't even come in with this stuff. So like they really ran Kuzma out of there. And I think that was going to be their plan to keep him when they traded all the young stars away and to try to build him up. But it's hard playing with LeBron and AD, who's taking all your touches. You can't really develop as a player, I feel like. But I think, all these point guards that's out here, man, you gotta like Russell Westbrook seems very, very valuable to the Lakers right now.
Honest with you, when it comes to Westbrook, I don't think Westbrook would be a bad fit for LA.
Mm-hmm.
Cause it's like I feel like with LeBron leading that team, Westbrook would be, he can tone Westbrook down a little bit. And I feel like Westbrook going out there, he's gonna know that he's not gonna get, as many shots like when he was in OKC, probably not as Washington. But I wouldn't say he would be the third. Well, he would be the third option in LA, but it's a good fit because point guard wise, you get a two-way defender, but the only thing with Westbrook can't hit is that three-point shot gonna hold up with them, and that's what LA needs is shooting. So
they need shooters, they need their shooters, and been productive as they should have been last year. Like a lot of their confidence is shot, but I just think that it was a little faulty season for them. I'm gonna give the Heat. I'm not gonna give them an all the way pass because these teams have gotten better, but they definitely have some struggles. Like 71 days of break, like isn't enough to be honest. So, I mean, I think Russell Westbrook game though complements his versatility and because like this is what that mean to me. Like for him to be like having the most triple doubles of all time, like that gives him versatility to do what he needs to do. And I don't think it would be difficult for him to play on the court with LeBron. I think he'll probably be the best fit. Kyle Lowry would probably be a close second, or he'll probably be up there on the same level because like the versatility in his game to ways he can dominate because he's a point guard that can go get boards.
Right.
And could like playing that with LeBron, he can, if he needs to score, he'll score. If he needs to push the pace when LeBron needs to take a break, he can push that pace and not lose a step. You know what I'm saying? So like, yeah, he might have to develop his three a little bit more playing with them, but I feel like that's an easy fix because he's not a super horrible shooter. But that is a concern, but I just think his versatility complements the Lakers very well.
Right. I feel like he has it because it's for him, he want to win. So it's like, and I feel like Westbrook, that's somebody who deserves to get a ring. So my thing is just like, I just don't know. I feel with LA, like with their contract situation, like how would they get him out there? That's because with him, you're gonna have to trade for him. That's the only thing. And he's getting paid about 35 million next year. So it's like, and then you might not even have him but for maybe next year because I feel like his contract, he's up next year. Yeah, so it's like you want to take that gamble as well with him. So
exactly, and you think Washington just gonna give him up for chump change, especially when they might lose Bradley Beal?
Exactly.
They look at the trade room too. It's in the trade rumors, so like, yeah, you're gonna have to come with a lot, man. That's gonna be something to keep our eyes on, though. For sure.
I keep saying this over and over, but Washington was my underdog team last year. I was like Westbrook, Bradley Beal. I was like, y'all cannot sleep on that. I mean, they got in the playoffs, but they didn't do what I thought they was gonna do.
They didn't reach the potential that they could have.
They really didn't, but they got in the playoffs. So it's like you saw it, but I feel like with that team, they just didn't. It was a defense for them.
For sure.
Defense. That was the only thing. It was just you had offense, but
like you got this. Could have been a scoring champ. You know what I'm saying? The Bradley Beal, like that's astronomical for Bradley Beal to have this crazy season. But for you to just reach the play-in, and they did a heck of a job. My underdog, I was rooting for Charlotte, but they're too.
Yeah, that's my team. So
they just didn't have the experience. So I mean, but I think Washington needs to find a way to be able to keep them. Yeah. Because that can set up for these youngsters. They got a nice supporting cast. They got a nice team. Like, to be honest, they're like the Miami Heat. Right. Just different built, just built differently. You know what I'm saying? So, like, it's going to have to wait and see, man.
So, coming off the finals, like, what do you think, like, because my thing is, it was a good playoff run this year, but my thing is these teams like Phoenix, and the Bucks, they not going nowhere. And then you got to remember like Luka.
Yeah.
I feel like Miami was in that end of, like say no rest from the bubble. I feel like Miami's gonna be back next year. And then, Brooklyn's definitely gonna be back. Yeah. So what do you think that means for Philly with Ben Simmons?
Philadelphia have to make a decision because there's no reason you should have came into the playoffs as the number 1 seed, and you have a MVP candidate that's averaging like 27, 10,
right.
And in the playoffs, he's scoring about 37, 15 rebounds. Like, he's getting all this. And then the thing about Philadelphia, okay, you have this MVP candidate. This, like, if you look at what made him the number 1 seed, you got all these shooters and defenders. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you got, like, Seth Curry. You got Danny Green, Tobias Harris. You know what I'm saying? Curry. Matisse Thybulle, which plays exceptional defense as, like, a fresh new player.
Right.
And, like, Shake Milton. Like, you got a nice supporting cast with a bunch of guys that, if they were on other teams, like, all-stars, easy, no question about it.
Right. And you got the championship DNA with Danny Green on that roster. So
experience.
Right.
Experience. And so how do you come in? You don't see anything slacking from none of these guys. And then you look at the guy that's facilitating. My thing is, I have no problem. Like, Ben Simmons is a phenomenal defender. We know that. Right. He's 6'9" and can dribble the ball like he's Chris Paul. You know what I'm saying? He can break any defense. Like, but his shooting dropped off. And so for Philadelphia, you can't ignore that fact,
This thing is, it's dropped off consecutively every year. So it's like, and that's the thing. And my thing is,
yeah,
like you said, facilitating wise, defending, I don't see that. To me, Ben Simmons was a defensive player of the year candidate this year. But for him to say, I'm building my team around you, and you're supposed to be the guy on my team. You and Embiid are the guy. The team is built around you. I should be getting more from you than just that. You know what I mean? Exactly. And you're a max contract player on top of that. So, but at the same time, I feel like, to be honest, I don't want to put it all on Ben Simmons. I want to put half of it on Ben Simmons, but I still want to put half of it on Philly as well, because I feel like Philly let him seem like it was okay for him not to feel like he needed to develop his shot. Like, you don't need to develop your shot. We're just going to put people around you that you can get the ball to. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like
Philly has been inconsistent with the amount of players that have came in and the coaches that have came in and went out. Right. And that's what I'm saying. Like, they have to make a decision. You either got to sit here and be like, look, we're going to invest in Ben Simmons and we're going to make sure, like, he doesn't have to score 27. Like, Joel Embiid is your MVP. Like, he could be MVP easily next year. You know what I'm saying? He's going to score. You just have to not be afraid to, if teams are giving you the shot and are fouling you, you have to go in there with the mindset of just knocking them down. And even if you don't knock them down, to keep attacking, because teams are realizing that, you know what I'm saying? They're not closing in on Ben Simmons. They're not picking him up at half court, which they can't because he's too big of a, like, you know what I'm saying, defender, and he's quick. Right. So, like, I think Philadelphia, just the organization itself, needs to have some confidence in Ben Simmons. Like, we all know that Ben Simmons needs to get in the gym. People have been saying it. Experts have been saying it. He needs to shoot, whatever. We got that. But the organization hasn't made a culture comfortable for him to say, hey, we trust you. We just need you to do what you do, and we'll take care of you. Because I see talent in him. And right. I mean, like, he's a great player in the league. If you put him up with the top point guards, like, he's going to be in the top, probably 10, 15. You know what I'm saying? So, like, there's nothing, like, he's a great player, all-star at there. But what are you going to do as an organization? Because if Doc Rivers did it in the playoffs, he had the theme of saying, like, you're telling reporters, like, Ben Simmons is not that guy. He's not a 40-point guy, whatever, woo-doo-woo. He does a lot of other great things, which defending and stuff. But you can't sit there and say that the whole playoffs, and then when you lose to the 5th seed Atlanta Hawks in the semifinals to go to Eastern Conference Finals, which you should have been, you can't sit there and be like, I don't know how to answer that question with Ben Simmons. He has to get in the gym. Like, you switching up. You know what I'm saying?
What you saying? Like,
yeah, if you're gonna be real with him and let him get better. But I think they just gotta, like I said, they just gotta get a better foundation for the players in Philadelphia. Because,
like, you didn't need to trade them.
To be honest, I feel like if you need to trade them, you trade them, but you need to trade them for value, because a lot of teams, which I just seen a report 2 days ago, I think it came from ESPN, a lot of teams are not taking nothing. Like, think a lot of teams are shutting down trades for Ben Simmons.
From what I was seeing, they were saying like Philly was asking for, like, they want another all-star caliber player back for him, but with him not having a jump shot in that contract, it's gonna be hard, to move him like that. So it's like if you trade him, you trade him for the possible potential that he does have. I feel like in the NBA, he has the most potential. He's just not using it, using it.
I feel like Philly is just gonna get too greedy though by doing that. And if you're adamant on trading him, you need to trade him for guys that are nowhere near all-star level. I'm not even gonna say nowhere near all-star level. There's not all-stars that are not superstars, but you need to trade them for guys that's gonna get you consistently scoring opportunities and to replace the things he did, and also to add in a little bit more offensive skill with that. And which I talked about this on my website. Portland, if they wanted to make a trade with Portland, CJ McCollum and Zach Collins are the 2 players that I think that can fit that piece well.
Right.
For Portland, I don't think that's a bad deal necessarily, because if I'm trading, first of all, CJ McCollum's contract is undervalued in the league. Zach Collins has been hurt the past couple seasons, but he's a great defender, and that's the reason why Portland keeps losing. They need defense. So if I'm Portland, I'm thinking like this. If I'm Portland, I got Damian Lillard, who can drop buckets any day of the week. Like, with his eyes closed, like, he's going to score. You know what I'm saying? Carmelo Anthony, I give him more minutes and I bring him back. He can get me 22 easily. I just need to play him more minutes. Okay, let me get some defense and somebody that's going to make it easier for Carmelo and Dame to get shots, more efficient shots. They're going to knock them down. And if I'm Philadelphia, this is what I'm thinking. CJ McCollum in the bubble, first series against LA, they lost, right? Whatever. Playing exceptional basketball, scoring, shooting. That's all he's been. When Damian Lillard ain't getting the ball, is CJ McCollum. That's it. Okay, I'm fixing what I needed from Ben Simmons to be an aggressive shooter. CJ McCollum could do that, and he could shoot the deep ball. He could put the ball on the floor too. And then if I'm Philadelphia too, I'm like, okay, I'm losing defense, but I've seen how Zach Collins can play defense and be a low post player that can relieve some pressure off of who? Your best player in Joel Embiid. He's going to give you 37 a night. You don't need anybody. You know what I'm saying? So let me make that deal. That's what I would think. But Philadelphia doesn't want CJ McCollum. They'd rather be interested in Damian Lillard. And I just think Philadelphia, once again, is getting too greedy and trying to get some, like, GMs are saying around the league, they don't want Ben Simmons because of that same thing we talk about, the shooting, the scoring aspect.
So why would you give away your top player in Dame for somebody who can't even give you 15? You know what I mean? So it's like, and then if he was to go, let's say like if he was to stay in, if he was Dame is to stay there and they trade Ben Simmons, for like McCollum, you said, and Collins. Just think like Ben Simmons is not going to play the point. I don't feel like Ben Simmons will play the point in Portland. They're going to have to put him at the 3. So it's like
2. No, not the 2. Yeah.
I mean, Dame can play the 2 and you put him at the 1, but it's like, because you're going to be short at guard, with McCollum going, but, it's like just gonna be real interesting to see. For me personally, I feel like Philly wants to trade Ben Simmons, but I really do think he's just gonna end up being there next year. Probably next year will be his last year. But I feel like with all the stuff with the fans, like Philly fans are hard, so it's like it's gonna be a lot of pressure on him coming back to Philly, and I just wonder like, will that mess with him mentally? Coming back next season, and then like you said, like teams won't do nothing to him coming up the court. They send him to the line because they know he's gonna be afraid at the line. So it's like, what are you gonna do? It starts with you. So it's like, what are you gonna do to get better? Because like this is the reputation that you're setting for yourself in the league. No, we don't even guard him. He come up to the three, he gonna pass it. Or he gonna drive, he gonna pass it. So it's like
exactly
you're making your own reputation. You putting yourself in the hole like that. So
you making you becoming a liability, basically.
Right.
Teams don't want for a lot of other things. They rather today's game score. You can't score.
You're really not gonna make this league. You can't do something. I'm saying even big man shooting threes now. So it's like
exactly, like you ain't got no choice, man.
You got to get a shot.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to get a shot. Like they will probably they probably won't send him to the G League, but you know what I mean? Like you're gonna have to get better.
Yeah, you're not gonna get to the potential that you can get to. Like, what's more exciting? A dude that's scoring 58, but dude that's scoring 58 or a dude that's coming out with 15 assists, 20 boards.
Yeah, see what I mean? I mean, like we're not taking away from that, but
yeah, I'm not taking away from that.
That's not gonna win you the game. I mean, that's not gonna win you the game. So it's like
it's not, and you're not gonna do that every night,
right? Mm-hmm.
You're not gonna do that every night, so we'll have to wait and see.
So I mean, so now we got football season coming up around the season. So what are your early predictions? Like, people like Aaron Rodgers. Me personally, I was surprised that he stayed. In Green Bay. I feel like this will probably be his last season in Green Bay.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got guys like Julio Jones, who's going to be in a new environment. He's left Atlanta. He's going to be in Tennessee. And then now, we got our Carolina native Clowney. He's on your team, the Cleveland Browns. So it's like, y'all had an impressive run last year. And I feel like, so what are you thinking coming up next for this season?
I think I want to start with Aaron Rodgers because I'm going to say it was a little bit surprising. But the reason why I think Aaron Rodgers, first of all, built his whole career in Green Bay.
Yeah.
So just to pick that up and leave that and think you're going to be successful at another team, everybody can't do that. Like, we seen Tom Brady do that, but Tampa Bay had an amazing defense and the weapons that they got. I don't think you can get that anywhere if you're Aaron Rodgers. And then along the fact, too, every team has invested into a younger guy or they're sticking with the same guy that they've been with for years. And they're trying to get other pieces. So where do you have to go as Aaron Rodgers? Where are you going to go? You know what I'm saying? You're in your 17th season. You haven't won many Super Bowls, which to his point and to his credit, I'm not going to say strictly on him, but, it still shows on the resume. You're not winning. Like, Tom Brady is automatic getting the wins and going to championships. Aaron Rodgers, on the other hand, you've been to the NFC Championships multiple times, but you just failed to get to the big game. So what leverage do you really have other than your play? And all these other teams already invest in the younger guys. They're not going to waste their money and keep a guy for 2 to 3 years when they know they just got the number 1 draft pick in their back pocket, So, but I'm glad he came back. And, I'm ready to see what he does. Randall Cobb just got traded again. He came back, which makes me think that, he was kind of just using this drama as leverage to get what he wants. So they're going to be a real dangerous team this year. I definitely think they had the chance to get back to the NFC Championship for sure. If this one team, I feel comfortable with Tampa Bay, but I don't think they're gonna make it back.
Like, because people don't realize, like, winning back-to-back in the NBA and winning back-to-back in the NFL, that's a whole different thing. Like, I can't even remember. I think the last team, to win back-to-back, wasn't it the Cowboys that year? And that was, in the 90s?
And I think it was either Cowboys. It might have been the Patriots in early 2000s. I can't remember. But it's a hard thing to do.
It is. And it's like people saying, like, but I will give some credit to Tampa saying they did bring everybody back. And I didn't think that was going to happen with NFL as well. Win the Super Bowl, you lose a couple of guys off the team usually the next year, guys get offers elsewhere. But Tom brought every guy that he brought in last year, they're coming back. So it's like, that's interesting to see. And then last year, I don't know if you saw the report, but Tom Brady said he played all last season with a torn meniscus. So it's like Tom Brady wasn't even at 100% last year, and he won the Super Bowl. And we're not talking about, a jam finger. He had a torn meniscus in his knee, and this man won the Super Bowl. So it's like this year we're getting Tom Brady back healthy, but he's still going to turn 41 this year. So it's like, is this going to be the year that we see Tom finally decline? I'm not saying it is, but we just won't know until the season starts. But I feel like I won't count Tampa Bay out, but I feel they still going to be the team. They still are a team to watch. But with Aaron Rodgers, I feel like with Aaron Rodgers, to be honest, I wouldn't put anything on Aaron Rodgers when it comes to his situation with the Green Bay. Because I feel like Aaron Rodgers done showed up every year for the team with the best of what he had. And you never had to worry about Aaron Rodgers coming to play a good game. You know what I mean? Aaron Rodgers is going to show up every night. And then coming up, MVP last season. And I feel like he was an MVP. And I don't feel like there was nobody that could have took it from him last year. But like you said, I don't, me personally, he said he want to trade, but I really can't see him going anywhere else but Green Bay either. But when it comes back to that, he won the Super Bowl, and I feel like he's already proven himself already. So he should have had the, talks with the team management and stuff like that. He should have already been in those conversations. He already won the MVP, brought you the Super Bowl. So it's not like he doesn't have the resume to where you can't trust him to make decisions to put the pieces on the team where he needs to win. Exactly. So it's like, I don't blame him for that. But like you said, I think it was him just requesting trade so, he can get what he, finally put his foot down and get what he wanted. So
to be honest, I like Patrick Mahomes, but Aaron Rodgers is the second best quarterback in this league behind Tom Brady.
It is. He is.
That's just a fact because those guys get their teams at the right pivotal points where they need to be.
Exactly.
And I mean, Kansas City's doing it now, but Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady makes it look easy. They make the game look smooth and easy. So, like, I don't care what anybody's saying, but you're right, though. You're right.
Like, because me personally, when all this happened, I was kind of hoping that Aaron Rodgers ended up on the Saints.
Yeah, that would have been.
That would have been a team. That would have been a team. That would have been something to watch. Because it's like, not trying to say Winston can't play, but Jameis Winston, he's not the most consistent quarterback there is out there. So it's like, at least with the Saints, they didn't really lose that much, but Drew Brees. But Winston didn't play well when he was in, so he kept him afloat. But can Winston do that for a full season? That's going to be the thing.
Can Winston get the same touchdowns and not throw as many picks as he did when he led the league in passing yards a couple years ago? That's the whole thing. That's the whole thing. So, yeah, that would have been a big move for him. But I just think Aaron Rodgers knows how much he invested into Green Bay and how much Green Bay invested into him.
Right.
And their parties, giving him a last go at it. And we'll see. I think, these players, man, like Aaron Rodgers, he's getting up there, 17 seasons in the league, man. Like, ooh, that's tough. That's tough. But I think that they're my favorites. That's tough to say. But I think they're still going to be my favorites to be number one in the NFC. I mean, Chicago just lost their not Chicago. Detroit just lost their Matthew Stafford.
Right.
We don't really have enough pieces on defense to compete. Chicago, on the other hand, they're young. We got to see how they're gonna do. Andy Dalton. Let's see if he's gonna mature. They just don't have the offensive line though, and Justin Fields is gonna play at some time this season. So but and in Minnesota, like I like Kirk Cousins, man, but he's not gonna get the job done. I don't think so. You're not. And then, but Patrick Peterson is an addition to them. So let's see how their defense do. And Dalvin Cook's gonna get the rock. So, but I think Green Bay is easily gonna sweep their division. Well, not sweep, but they're gonna win the division, and they're probably gonna have the best record in the NFC.
So if you could pick right now, who would be your early prediction for the Super Bowl next year? I don't get with the score, so I'm just gonna throw it at you. Who you think will be the Super Bowl next year?
My heart, I want to say my Browns, but I'm not an idiot. Kansas City is running the AFC into the dirt, and they've been for the past 2 to 3 seasons. So it wouldn't be wise to say that Kansas City will not go back. But if it's anybody that has a chance to knock off Kansas City, it's going to be a team from the AFC North. So I'm just going to put that asterisk in there because the AFC North to me is the most dominant conference in football because 3 of their teams were playoff bound. 2 of them went. Obviously, 2 can't go. And Cincinnati with Joe Burrow is just going to get better. So it's going to be a team that's going to knock off Kansas City. It's going to be from the AFC North. But I say Kansas City is my early Super Bowl prediction for the AFC. For the NFC, this is tough. Aaron Rodgers keeps getting to the championship game time and time after again, but loses. I don't see anybody from the NFC West really making an impact. I don't see Seattle getting any better. Maybe 2 games because this extra game better than they did last year. The Los Angeles Rams are going to be a good team, but I think Matthew Stafford has to find his bearing down there first. And Tampa Bay, damn. See, that's the hard part because I don't think Tampa Bay is going to make it back. I think teams are going to start to figure that out, and they're going to have a tough time in their conference, no matter what. With the Saints, obviously, not going to be the Falcons or the Panthers. But you want to say Aaron Rodgers is going to make it to the championship next year, but Tom Brady is right there, and he dismantled them.
Yeah.
So, but I'm going to ride with the Packers. I can see Kansas City, Green Bay back in the Super Bowl. And that's going to be some legendary stuff, man, because they was in the first one. They're going to be in this one again, I think. That's my early predictions. I don't know about you, but that's –
personally, I feel like the Super Bowl we got last year wasn't the Super Bowl that we were supposed to get.
Oh, it wasn't.
But either way, I feel like Kansas City is going to be in it either way. Like you said, they've been running the AFC. And Patrick Mahomes, he ain't going nowhere. No time soon. No. And I feel like the reason that game wasn't, as close to me, I think he had an injury. And then we're going to get Patrick Mahomes back healthy next year. But it's just like, so I'm going to pick Kansas City for the AFC. But like you said, NFC is probably going to be Green Bay or it's going to come out of Tampa again.
Yeah. I just don't see any other team because
I don't either.
Russell Wilson has been putting up for the first 5 weeks MVP numbers, but
that was my pick last year, who I originally thought was going to be in there. But they got to the playoffs,
Yeah, but their defense is lackadaisical. Like their secondary isn't what it used to be. Like it's just little things like that that's frustrating, and they can't land a big free agent. To help them out on defense. So, and then they got to play Los Angeles twice a year. You know what I'm saying? San Francisco, which, look, I don't care what you say, but Jimmy Garoppolo on that team, they were way better. And they had a decent defense. Like they're gonna cause problems for Seattle to win out that conference. That conference is just a mess. Like you don't know who's gonna come out. So I mean, that it's got to be these two. It's got to look the similar pictures, but I say, like I said, I just think if it's gonna be definitely for sure gonna be Packers and Tampa Bay in the championship game for the NFC. For the AFC, that's just too hard. But I guarantee you, it's either gonna be the Bills again or AFC North team. Those are the only teams that are gonna compete with the Chiefs
about the
and have a
Bills.
chance. So, and Josh Allen probably is gonna have an exceptional year next year, but I think it's gonna be overshadowed by Aaron Rodgers' year or Lamar Jackson's. And he's probably gonna get MVP next year. He's probably gonna get quote unquote snubbed. So
you think Lamar Jackson is the early MVP for next year?
I think Aaron Rodgers is my early favorite, but Lamar Jackson is definitely gonna show. Lamar Jackson is gonna show his passing game to be evolved,
right?
And it's gonna be dangerous next year.
So who would be your underdog team for next year? For me, I feel like I'm a Panthers fan, but we all know I'm a Panthers fan. So I feel like with Sam Darnold, at first I wasn't too happy about the Sam Darnold. At first I want Deshaun Watson. Hell, I even wanted a chance at Aaron Rodgers. We got the chance for him because I feel like with the Panthers we played good last year and we didn't lose a lot of our games by that much. All our games that we lost was close. I just feel like we just needed that piece, but I feel like now thinking about Sam Darnold, now he was in New York Jet. He was a Jet, so I feel like we got to throw that in there with him. And we saw how the Jets was, so I feel like that was going to be the fresh start with him. He got some young pieces out there on the offense, and then McCaffrey is going to be coming back. So it's like if he comes back healthy, and then the receiver, we're good at receivers and whatnot. So it's like, hey, maybe we might make a run at it again next year. Not saying we would win the Super Bowl, but we could possibly be in the wild card next season. This season, this coming season.
Possibly be second in our division. I think Sam Darnold was a good fit for Carolina, and I think it's going to give him a first start with a team that actually has a system there built to have a quarterback. Because Teddy Bridgewater survived.
Yeah.
And Sam Darnold wasn't that bad of a person, but a quarterback, but it's just hard playing for an organization having that pressure. I think he's going to have better opportunities down in Carolina, but I'm not going to quite pick him as my underdog team. I think I kind of got two teams. So the first team is going to be the Dallas Cowboys, which I hate to say it. I hate to say it, but because Cowboys fans in the South, man, be ridiculous, but annoying at that. But Dak Prescott was putting up numbers last year, but half of the Cowboys defense was out. Everybody's coming back healthy.
It is true.
And they just got that linebacker from Penn State who's just a beast. So I think Dak's going to come out swinging. Ezekiel Elliott is looking good. So I think they're going to run the NFC East. Like, they're just going to run them in the dirt. I think that's going to be easy. But my other team is the Colts. And
the Colts.
For some reason, obviously Darius Leonard and that side of the defense, their defensive backs like Quincy Wilson, like all them boys are just ridiculously athletic and play hard. But I think Carson Wentz is going to have a redemption year. And I think he just needed to probably get out of Philadelphia, And that's not a bad system to be left by Phillip Rivers. Rivers a decent team, but I think those are my two underdog teams. I really like. I really like Dak Prescott coming back. I like him as a quarterback. I don't admire the team he's playing for, but I like him as a quarterback, and I just think Dallas Cowboys are a wild card. I think they're a wild card team for sure, and they're definitely one of the teams that should be easy into the playoffs.
Even you gotta remember when the Cowboys, their division they shouldn't have a problem to win their division as well.
They should.
They shouldn't have a problem winning that division this year.
Not even this year. Like
even last year.
Exactly. Like Saquon's coming back, but they're not gonna do nothing with that. Like they're making any moves. They got Kenny Galladay, but what is Daniel Jones has to perform. They have to play defense. They lost a lot of their cornerbacks. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, James Bradbury's still there, but he's not gonna. Teams are gonna exploit him. Like the Washington football team, like what quarterback? Ryan Fitzpatrick is decent at best, but he's not gonna. You know what I'm saying? And then
I feel like he's a game changer for them, but he'll do well. I feel like he's gonna do good in Washington, but he's not like what Washington needed to get hey, we're gonna contend. We're gonna get in the playoffs this year. But I feel like he's gonna be a good fit for them. But
which I mean, the defense of Washington is the only thing you have to worry about is Dallas. But Dallas has such an amazing front seven, and I think they're gonna be remotivated when Dak comes back. Yeah. And Philadelphia is just too young.
Before that went down, I mean, he was playing, like I say, he was playing hot before he went down. So it's like, and then I feel like Jerry Jones still had, even with the injury, I feel like Jerry Jones still has that confidence that Dak is still his guy, and Ezekiel is still his guy. Like I said, when they both hot, ain't no stopping that.
Exactly.
So it's like, then forgot about Amari Cooper, so
yeah, which
he's there too. He's back. So you got your receiver, you got your running back, you got your quarterback, you got everything you need on the offensive end. So I wouldn't be surprised if Dallas has one of the best offenses in the NFL this year.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't be surprised either though. I wouldn't be surprised.
For early MVP, to me, it would probably be, like I said, it'd probably be Aaron Rodgers, or Dak. Because I feel like these two quarterbacks, they got the most on their shoulders this year. It's more of like redemption for them this year.
Yeah, it is.
But it's not like they're trying to redeem themselves, but for them, they just, they got something to prove. Hey, I'm Dak Prescott. I'm Aaron Rodgers. Like, I got to let y'all know, like, I'm still that guy, exactly. In this league. Like, I'm still one of the top quarterbacks in this league. But when it comes down to it, that's gonna be a hard one, but
yeah, it's gonna be hard.
I'll probably go with Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, I think
just because,
Yeah, he's not gonna care. He's not gonna think about it. He's just going out there and ball, and that's just dangerous to see. With all the talent he has and the skill that he has, like put that with the type of mindset he's gonna be in, it's gonna be dangerous. But I don't want to forget the Tennessee Titans because, man, dude, that's unfair. Like, I ain't even gonna lie. Like, that. Hey, look, that's stacked. Their defensive back squad is already straight. Like, is probably one of the better ones in the league. But just to have a 2,000-yard rusher behind you, and then you look left, you got a probably, if he had the receptions in Atlanta, probably will be at the end of his career considered, or at least in the conversation, as the greatest wide receiver ever built or whatever. And then you look over right and you just like, man, I got a young dude that's big, fast, and he can run routes. He got it all. And AJ Brown, like, dog, you know what I mean? Weapons. And the only thing that really hurt Tennessee was that everybody knew in the stadium they were going to give it to Derrick Henry. And just wait till he tires out, or wait till, we have to worry about him. He can keep getting his 5 yards, but we can outscore him.
Exactly, yeah.
So, like, Ryan Tannehill is going to look amazing, and Ryan Tannehill is going to get it to where he needs to. He's not going to.
And Julio Jones as well.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's like
coming back refreshed and ready to go. It's just, you know what? It's just the AFC is going to be the best conference like ever. Like, this year, there's too much talent in the AFC that the playoff picture is going to look ridiculous throughout the whole season. It's going to be up and down, and Yeah, that's gonna be a scary sight to see Julio Jones and Derrick Henry and AJ Brown.
I feel like with Julio Jones, I feel like he still can give you that, spark on the offense. I just feel like his time in Atlanta just was up. That is just he just needed new scenery. And I feel like I still think he's still one of the top receivers in this league. So
I always thought that. Matt Ryan, not gonna say necessarily his fault. It's probably because of the system. He was underappreciated, and Atlanta got the dude you was coming out with. People would always. I remember I had this conversation with a friend a while ago when Antonio Brown was at the peak of his career in Pittsburgh, and he ended up being the receiving yards leader one year. Julio was like a close second or third, and it was just the thing about it is people was thinking Antonio Brown was better, which is not a bad argument, but I was just saying how can you fault a guy for not having a lot of yards when he's only getting 2 receptions a game for 24 yards? That's 12 yards per catch.
Right.
That's crazy.
2 first downs. You know what I mean? He's still giving you production. It's just he just wasn't getting the ball.
Exactly, and I don't think they utilized him. He didn't even have a touchdown one season until the mid of the season, his first touchdown. So I get it as Matt Ryan, you this performer and all, and you got Calvin Ridley over there, Taylor Gabriel when he's playing and play back in the day. So but at the end of the day, you have the best receiver in the game, physically built, strong, fast. Use him. He will follow him. He will take you where you need to go.
Right.
But with Ryan Taylor here, he's gonna let that thing swing, man. He ain't gonna waste no time. He's not gonna waste no time with that one.
It's gonna be a real interesting season, I said, for both the NBA and the NFL. So it's we just don't know. We really just not gonna know until the season starts. But that's just the early predictions that we got coming up. So free agents coming up soon. So who you think? For NBA with the draft being Thursday? Who do you think? Last question. Who would that be? Who do you think is going number 1?
Cade is Cade coming.
You think Cade? Yeah.
It's automatic. In NBA, you could tell if teams are trying to make moves. The Pistons just refused to trade to OKC for Shai. They obviously know they want that number 1 pick, and it's for Cade Cunningham. I'm not saying nobody else has that talent because in the NBA, the first draft pick doesn't usually, put on a lot of times, but the type of player and hype that Cade's been getting since he came out of high school, and then to play at a school like Oklahoma State and to get that exposure, he's gonna go number 1, So other than that, man, I don't think it's gonna be anybody else that's gonna be. All their eyes are on him, if that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, we're gonna have to wait and see. This Thursday or not Thursday, excuse me. Well, yeah.
For me, I still would say Cade probably gonna go number 1, but I feel like tomorrow it's gonna be a big trade go down. Somebody's getting moved tomorrow night.
It's gonna come out. It's gonna come out.
We just don't know who yet, so it's just we just gotta wait and see. But I still think Cade, and I feel like he probably is the best player in this draft this year.
Yeah, I mean Jalen Green. I liked him since he was coming out of high school. It was kind of like that 3-headed monster coming out of high school. All these recruits and stuff is just getting crazy, but they're all guards and forwards. So that's what people want now is guards. They're going number 1 for them.
This is an NBA guard dominate now, so it's
it is it's just not going. It's not going really. But you kind of, I guess, college. That's kind of a point that I got too. This is why I think Cade is gonna go number 1. The college basketball scene isn't like college football because a lot of times in college football, you get a lot of your players that are going number 1 are gonna make it far in the college football playoffs or the bowl games. They make it there, they're gonna be a number 1 draft pick. Like Baker Mayfield made it to college football players where he went out. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
A lot of these guys that go number 1 are in that predicament. But the fact of the matter is, in college basketball, you're not gonna have it because Jalen Suggs. Like Gonzaga made it to the final for the championship game, but if you look at his, I'm not gonna say his talent isn't as good, but people are not gonna see that. You know what I'm saying? They're looking for who can dominate the game, who's gonna go out there and drop the, you know what I'm saying, 24 points, 22, like who's gonna dominate the game and make it exciting. You know, and that's what teams are looking for. Most of these execs anyway, these GMs. So it's a business thing.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, too, yeah, it's a business thing because if I get this guy that everybody is seeing on TV busting people's tails, like, you know what I'm saying, busting people's asses, he's going to bring me ticket revenue. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's just simple matter of fact. Like, you're the best player. Everybody's talking about buzzing. Like, come to my team. You know what I'm saying?
Plus, at Detroit, they need another star out there anyways. But they need a new star anyway. So, and I feel like with the young guys they got now, you know, Detroit going in the right direction. I mean, you know, so it's like it's gonna be real interesting to see. Cause the draft comes on tomorrow at 8. So
yeah, I'm watching that whole thing. I'm watching it. Yeah. And
all right, but bro, I want to say, what were you saying?
I was just saying, OKC is gonna really make his move tomorrow. So
yeah. But bro, I just want to say, thank you for coming on the podcast.
No doubt.
Check out his podcast, Truthbetoldsports. Matthew Broomfield.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate you, man.
Appreciate you. Good times as always, man.
Do it, man. Yeah. All right, man.
All right, man. Peace out. Appreciate you. Peace.